Huh. According to this, it's been over a year since I've done a manga haul video. Luckily, I prepared for that. Hi, I'm Dave. What are you doing in my house? Here's what I've picked up recently. It's been over a year, like I mentioned, since I did any sort of haul, and I figured with the holiday season, da-doop-de-doop to skippery bop, however that song goes, let's do that. I went away. I was in New York City for a week visiting friends and family, and while I was down there, I did a bit of reading because I also am a little baby boy and need to be by myself sometimes to mentally and socially recharge. So I made sure to pick up some reading material beforehand and while I was down there so I'd have things to do by myself. So I picked up a lot of stuff. This to be exact. Some of it's manga, some of it's traditional like Western comic books, because if you guys are familiar with the channel at all, you know I've been getting back into that recently as well. So we're just gonna go through, chat, and yeah, it's kind of spoilers here because you can see the first few titles. So One Piece Volume 8. I watched a bunch of One Piece and decided I didn't want to anymore because it was just too much of a commitment. So I'm going back through and I'm reading it instead. My OCD wouldn't let me pick up from where I left off. It's like, dude, if you're gonna read it, you got to start over, because God forbid you miss something. But it's been fun to re-experience this story. Obviously, I'm still in the East Blue. I'm only on 9 now because I finished this. But yeah, it's been fun to re-experience the story, and the new kind of reanimation thing that they're doing will be fun as well, because 1,000+ episodes is just way too much of a commitment. I mean, this is already a lot because they're up to like volume 100 and something. But yeah, I mean, One Piece, you don't need me to tell you about One Piece. It's awesome. Next, we have volumes 11 and 12 of Slam Dunk. I love Slam Dunk. I'm a huge basketball fan, and I'm a huge Slam Dunk fan. And I had been looking for volume 11 of Slam Dunk for like at least a year, and I just could not find it anywhere. At any of my local comic book stores, my local anime store, could not find it. But when I was down in New York City, I found it at a store there, and they had a bunch of them too. Like, I was ready to walk out of there with volumes 11 through like 21, but I thought, you know what, I gotta not do that because I need to pay rent. That's kind of a big deal. So I decided to only get the next two, and I read them both in one sitting. So I kind of wish I had picked up a few more, but Slam Dunk is amazing. I love it, and I'm so happy that I got to experience more of the story. Hopefully it doesn't take me another year to get 13, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, Slam Dunk, I mean, if you love basketball, or really any sports, really any shonen, honestly, like, it's got the shonen archetypes. It just happens to be about basketball, but I mean, Slam Dunk is amazing. Next, we have Mashima Heroes, by Hiro Mashima, which is the author of Fairy Tail, Rave Master, and Eden Zero. And this is like a one-shot kind of crossover between the three. There's some art on the back here, which is pretty cool. I haven't read it yet. It was in my local anime store for like $5, so I thought I'd pick it up because I'm a big fan of Fairy Tail. I know that's kind of like, some people really hate Fairy Tail, and I know that Mashima's style of storytelling and writing isn't great sometimes. He relies on the kind of the stuff. The best way I can describe it, I don't want to like cuss because I don't want my video to get like flagged or buried in the algorithm, but the best I can describe it is titty humor. And so that may not appeal to everybody, and it's not really my favorite thing either. But Fairy Tail, at least, I haven't gotten a chance to read or watch Rave Master, and the same thing with Eden Zero. I don't know much about those two. But I was hoping that this manga would help me maybe get into it a little bit. at least, you know, help me learn some of the characters in those other shows. But Fairy Tail is kind of like a warm bowl of mac and cheese. Like, it's not really, there's not much substance there, but it's good, and you like it, and it makes you feel good. So there's that. But yeah, I don't know. I'll see how it is. It's a one shot, and it was only $5, so not much of a time or a financial sink there. So I don't mind that. And then last up for the manga portion, we have volumes 8 and 9 of Kaiju number 8. I made a video on Kaiju number 8 a while back when I first got into it. It's in my like manga and anime like reviews and impressions playlist. It's like one of my new favorite mangas, or my favorite new manga. It's so good. It's such a good manga, and I'm so excited to read 8 and 9. I haven't yet, but very excited to get around to it, because the story is so good. If I could go on forever, and I think in that video I talked about it for at least a good 20 minutes or half an hour. So feel free to watch that video if you get a chance, because more people I think need to learn about this manga, and I'm pretty sure it's getting an anime adaptation, which is good because that means it's popular enough to warrant an anime adaptation. So yeah, but read Kaiju number 8 if you haven't yet. It's like in a nutshell, it's like, well, I mean, it's in the title. It's about kaijus and stuff, but there's a lot more to it and to these characters. And just if you're able to watch that video, because I really like it. It's not really like an in-depth video. I feel weird talking about my own videos like they're good, because 99% of them are just me talking. And it kind of feels weird to, you know, stroke my own ego and be like, oh, I liked the points I made in that video. That video came out well because of the stuff that I said. That was cool. But like, I do sometimes like watching a video back and being like, oh, that was a fun topic, or that was a fun discussion. And I think the video I made on Kaiju number 8 is good because the manga is good, so there was a lot to discuss and break down. But anyway, tangent aside, so that was the manga. Admittedly, not a whole lot, because I'm moving again in a few months, so I wanted to try to, one, I'm running out of shelf space for my manga, but also, like, when it comes to the move, the less that I have, the better, because they're heavy. So when it comes to collecting reading material, I for the next month or two, I think I'm going to stick with just comic books. So I did collect a fair bit of comic books. I did buy a lot in this haul here. So let's talk about those. Next, we have issue number 6 of Robins. This was a fun little story. I mean, I'm a big fan of the Bat family and of the Robins in particular. Nothing crazy here. It wasn't like super awesome, but it was pretty interesting. And it's only 6 issues long, which I love that comic books do this. Some of them do this, you know, blank of blank. I wish that more did that, because I like to know those things. I like to know if something is a big time sink and or financial sink, before I get fully into them. Another short one. This one is still wrapped up. I haven't opened it yet. It's called Swords of Texas. It was only $5. I got it at a comic book store in Syracuse, New York, when I was on my way down to the city. And I know nothing about it, but it just looks cool. It's from Eclipse Comics. I don't read too much from them, but it looks like post-apocalyptic sort of dealy. I don't know anything about it, but it was only $5, and it has the full series, so I figured I'll try it out. I'll let you know how it is. Next, we've got a one-shot trade paperback, Robin, Days of Fire and Madness. I'm a big Robin fan, like I mentioned, and I'm also a big Tim Drake fan. No, this isn't Tim Drake. This is Dick Grayson, I think. I don't know why I thought it was Tim Drake, because it's not. Because it's because he's in the army now. That's what it says back there. I just thought that was interesting. I'm a big Robin fan. You know, any Robin story I'm going to check out. I am a big Tim Drake guy, but Dick Grayson is, you know, the original OG Robin. He's awesome too. And, you know, he was in the army, and he was Okay, so this is Tim Drake. That's what I thought, because the costume looked like Tim Drake. But I was reading the back and it said Bloodhaven, so I thought it was Dick Grayson. But it says right here that having relocated to Bloodhaven following his father's death, Tim Drake, Robin, the boy wonder, found himself, blah, blah, blah. So it is a Tim Drake story, which makes it even better, and also makes me look like a dummy because I was right, and then I like gaslit myself into being wrong, and then I'm actually right. Do you do that? Do you guys ever gaslight yourself? I'm just explaining anxiety to you, I guess. I have that too, by the way. This is a fun video. Yeah, so Robin's in the army now. I haven't read this yet, but I love Tim Drake. I love Robin. And I'm realizing that the whole reason I bought a bunch of stuff was to read over my break, and then I just didn't do it. I did read a bit, but not everything. But yeah, I'm excited to get around to this one because I'm a fan of the old Rob boy. Next, we've got another full series. This is issues 1 through 4. I did read this one of Siege Embedded. Marvel's Siege event I knew nothing about, and I still don't really know a whole lot about. But Siege Embedded is actually pretty... if you're going into this thinking it's going to be like a traditional Marvel action comic, you probably won't like it. But it's actually very interesting because the Siege event itself, I don't know, what that does, but Siege Embedded follows Ben Ehrlich as he's kind of covering the whole Siege event, from the outside. So it gives you a very interesting look on the event from a different perspective. And I think if I knew more about Siege itself, I would probably appreciate this comic even more. But from what I saw, I liked it. It's this whole thing with Asgard, and there's this I think his name was Travis Wells or something. He's like this figurehead, kind of just basically any Fox News white guy, just ranting and raving about how much Asgardians are bad and how much they suck and whatever. And it starts this whole thing. This comic came out a while ago, but yet it's weirdly relevant today. All this fear mongering and stuff, and it basically follows Ben trying to tackle it in a more journalistic way, basically being like, hey man, they're not all bad, and let's get to the bottom of what's going on here. Because also in the comic, it involves Hammer trying to use the mass hysteria to justify invading Asgard. A government of power using mass hysteria to invade something. Never heard that before. Never heard that before. They're going to Asgard to find their WMDs that aren't actually there or real. Anyway, no, it was pretty good. For what it was fine. It was interesting. You get to see, there are instances where Ben is looking in on these battles, and you see it from his perspective. And that just makes for an interesting look. It's kind of have you guys ever played the Godfather game on Xbox 360? I think it came out on PS3 and Wii and whatever. But it was a retelling of the movie, but you played as a completely new character who wasn't in the movie. So the scene where Don Corleone is getting shot up in front of the barber shop, and bullets are flying in the window, your character is actually in the shop and ducking behind as the bullets come through. So you see it but from a fresh set of eyes. So, that kind of concept is always interesting to me. But I think I would have appreciated more if I knew more about Siege. But for what it's worth, it was fine. Next, we have volumes 5 and 6 of Blue and Gold. This is a really fun, silly little series that I'm really enjoying. Booster Gold is quickly becoming one of my favorite superheroes. He's a time-traveling football player. I mean, what more can you ask for, But I'm really liking it so far. It's basically him and Blue Beetle, trying to make a pseudo sort of heroes for hire type deal. And them getting into wacky little shenanigans and stuff. It's fun. It's quirky. It's only 8 issues. So again, not a huge time sink. But yeah, I really like Blue and Gold so far. Next is one reason why I really like comic books is because, sorry, my nose was itchy, or is itchy. That's gross. Um, it's stuffy in here. One reason I like comic books, I love manga, right? In a traditional volume of manga is probably going to run you about 10, 11 bucks, right? And you get like a thick volume. So obviously this is bigger than this, right? One floppy for $4. You're getting more bang for your buck with this. However, whenever I get into a new series, I usually try to read at least 2 to 3 volumes or issues of a certain manga or comic before I decide if I want to keep collecting it or not. And it's very easy to warrant this, rather than, 2 or 3 manga. And I know what you're thinking, Dave, well, there's a bigger sample size in one volume of manga, so shouldn't you know if you like something after one volume? Theoretically, yeah, but my stupid brain doesn't work that way. So anyway, I say all that to say that when it comes to taking a risk on a property, I'm much more open to doing that with comic books because the entry is cheaper. Now, over the long run, comics are going to be more bang for your buck, but the entry is cheaper. So again, I say all that to say I'm very happy I took a leap and just randomly picked up issues 1 through 3 of the Mighty Barbarians. Not knowing anything about this series, I really like it so far. It's very much not really in setting, but in its storytelling and in its brutality and in kind of how its characters act. If anyone's ever read Berserker, that's another comic I really like, but it'll make you feel a lot like you're reading Berserker. It's very brutal. The art is even sort of kind of similar, not like super similar, but like it's got that same sort of brutality to it. The characters are written, similarly in some aspects. But it's not anything groundbreaking. It's a group of barbarians that get together. This wizard lady gets them together because they have a quest to find these orbs or something. So it's not super crazy, but it's a fun story because they go to all these different realms and whatnot, and that makes for cool environments and cool fights. And it's this band of like unlikely heroes that like band together, and that's a story that we've heard many times before in different types of media, but it's still a good basis for a story, and I think the Mighty Barbarians is so far doing that very well. I could be wrong about this, but I think it's only 6 issues long. So again, not a huge time sink and really good so far. So there's that one. And then last we have issue number 2 of Deadpool Batter Blood. I'm a huge Deadpool fan. I'm a bit of a Deadpool hipster because I got into Deadpool comics way before the movie came out. I don't go around saying that because it makes me look like a douche. But, I say that, I don't go around saying that, and then I just said it in a video. So, take that as it will. But yeah, I love Deadpool. Deadpool Batter Blood is, so far I don't quite really know what exactly it's about. It's just kind of had Deadpool fight. Well, actually the first volume barely had Deadpool, or the first issue rather, barely had Deadpool in it. But it's got like, there's just some stuff going on. I don't know, it's Deadpool. Sometimes you don't really need to pay attention. You just need to stick around for the jokes and the quips and the bloody combat. But it's good. Anyway, yeah. I'm sorry. I was looking at something. But yeah, that's the haul. It's been about a year. Obviously that's not all I've purchased over the last year because that would be not a lot. But it's all I purchased in the past like week. So that's fun. But come March, so in a few months, we will do our annual manga update collection video. So that'll be fun. Feel free to check that out. Stick around for that. Feel free to check out the collections playlist if you want to see where the collection has grown since then, so you can catch up if that's something you're into. I've got a lot of other stuff on the channel. And yeah, that's it. I'm gonna go. It's New Year's Eve. I'm gonna fall asleep before the ball drops, so it's kind of just another day. But if you guys do stay up for that, enjoy it. Happy New Year, and I'll see you. I'll see you next year. No, but seriously, I mean, I will technically see you in the next. You guys get it. Yeah. So have a good night, morning, day, everyone. I mean, you could be watching this in 2024 already, and I'm talking to you from the past. So that's fun. So that means you're in the future and I'm in the past. So it's like, how, what's the future like? Did we get flying cars yet in 2024? Tomorrow? Do we have flying cars tomorrow? I'm going to stop. Okay, you guys have a great night. Have a happy new year. Hope you enjoyed the video. Feel free to check out anything else on the channel. Like, subscribe, comment, say something nice to me. I'll appreciate it. Okay, bye.